Hi everyone, welcome to Module 1 of the course. This is a very important module because it lays out the foundational concepts that you'll need to understand in order to navigate the rest of the course successfully. First, you'll be introduced to a couple of different types of claims. Objective claims and subjective claims are the primary emphasis. You've probably heard these words before and might have a layman's understanding of the difference between these types of claims. In this module, you'll be given concrete ways to establish whether you're dealing with an objective or a subjective claim. You'll also be briefly introduced to moral value judgments. Morality is a little bit tricky. Moral claims are sometimes looked at as subjective, nothing more than a matter of preference or taste. But a lot of people look at morality as something more objective. In the history of philosophy, philosophers have tended to go with morality as being closer to objective than subjective. However, we're not going to try to figure out what moral claims are in the next few weeks of this course. It's been a debate that's been raging for millennia. We're not going to figure it out clearly here. Instead, for the purposes of Module 1, we'll look at moral claims as their own category. So, objective, subjective, and moral claims are the three types of claims you'll be dealing with in the beginning of this class. Next, you'll be introduced to the different components of an argument, premises and conclusions. It's important to understand this distinction because you need to know when you're listening to somebody, are they giving evidence or are they telling me the point that they're trying to prove? These are two very different things and we would treat them differently. Lastly, you'll be very briefly introduced to the difference between inductive and deductive arguments. This is a difficult distinction, and although you might have heard of those terms before this class, there's a lot of misinformation out there about how to tell the difference. So before you go doing some wild web dive on how to look at this distinction, be sure that you take a look at the end content of Module 1 and especially Module 2. Don't worry if you're not clear on this distinction by the end of Module 1. You're just going to be briefly introduced to some things. It's really Module 2 where you're learning how to differentiate an inductive from a deductive argument. In this module, you'll have a couple of soft chalk lessons, as well as the introduction to your first group assignment, and a lot of the concepts from Module 1 are a part of your first group assignment. So do the soft chalk lessons, read the content of this module, and then attempt the group assignment. If you have any questions about either the content or the assignments for this module, please reach out to me via the Canvas message system. Good luck.